You don't have to, keep up with the Kardashians to have a business. You gotta. I mean, I'm a mom. I'm gonna go to Walmart. I'm gonna have fun. And what people fail to realize is you is going to be what pays, not being somebody else. Don't nobody like a replica. They like the real deal. So if Walmart's where you shop, you don't gotta, buy your kids all this fancy stuff. You can vlog yourself going to Walmart. Boom. There's a moneymaker. And I had to learn
Facts.
that.
Hey, what's up, everyone? So today we're going to be talking with a friend of mine who actually quit her job right before the pandemic and then went full time in her business and has been doing even more great ever since. So I hope you guys enjoy this information. Let's get right into it. Let's go. Hey, what's up, everybody? So I am back live with my sis here, Talisha Birdsong, and I'm super excited to have her on because in just a short amount of time, in just a couple of years, she left her job, and then she started her business, and her business is thriving, and she's helping thousands upon thousands of people like on a daily, weekly basis. So what's up, sis? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I am so excited.
Hey, I'm so excited too. I mean, you're out here changing lives in the world, so that's what's up. Super excited to have you on. So I don't want to steal in your thunder. I kind of told some of your business. She's a wife, she's a mom, and she's making all these things happen with no excuses. And one of the things I think you'll find is that in these conversations, you'll see how unperfect we all are in our journeys, and that anyone can start from wherever they are and make it happen. So if you don't mind, just tell a little people about yourself and your business, like what you do.
Absolutely. So, hi everybody. I'm Talisha Birdsong. I'm 28. As you said, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. A little bit of everything. You have to be a doctor. You have to be a counselor. I'm whatever you name it. Okay. But most importantly, from a business aspect, I'm a mentor. I'm a financial coach. So I assist minorities with building generational wealth for their family, learning how to manage their money. I'm a firm believer that it starts with your mind, the way you think about money. A lot of us are afraid. We're scared of money. We're scared of credit cards. We're scared of everything that pertains to money. And I help minorities understand and learn that you don't have to be scared of money. Once you stop the fear of money, then you can be in front of your money. I help with from credit, formulating in businesses, tax preparation, both business and personal. And then I do a little coaching as well to teach entrepreneurs how to scale their businesses. So that's me in a nutshell, the fun stuff.
Oh wow, wow. So before we go forward, one of the things that you said that I think is very important, like you talked about, basically your relationship with your money, your feet, like fear, things like that. Now, especially in helping minorities, like you know how it is when you're trying to talk to people about money,
Yeah.
because you're like that, right? Like where you had all these different things in your head about money, about success, about
Yes.
how you make it, how you invest it, everything, and a lot of times that controls what we do. Like, so what type of challenges have you found with like trying to help people get through, or those challenges that they normally have when it concerns having fear around money? Because that's a really big thing, and a lot of times that holds us from having success because of just the way we grew up in a household with a certain type of habit.
Yeah. For me, I always start with a tell me why are we here? Because you got
Mm,
to understand
right.
where a person is. You can start by, I need you to do this, this, and this. But if the behavior doesn't change, when they graduate your program, they're back in the same situation that before they left. So for me, tell me why are you here? Have them understand and talk about this is what's going on. My parents didn't teach me this didn't happen, and I stopped. Let's start with what have you done? Because as an adult, I can say today, my mom didn't teach me anything about credit, but you knew credit existed. So now that you know, what are you going to do about it? And then most importantly, the biggest challenge for me is I don't have the money. Whether it's investing in my services, investing in their business, investing in themselves, I can't save because I don't have the money. I can't budget because I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And then I make them acknowledge. So let's go through your bank statements. You have this much money that you spent in extra expenses. Is it that you don't have the money, or it's the way you're spending your money? Look
Right.
at your I don't have money for rent. Look at your closet. You probably got your rent hanging up in your closet. You probably got your rent sitting up there in shoes. That was me. And so what I try to do is take my situations, the things that I had to acknowledge, and then make them uncomfortable to say, you're right, it's me. I really haven't gotten in front of my money because I didn't realize how much I was actually spending out, how much I was, what I wasn't saving, what I wasn't doing, and especially like monthly subscriptions. Half of us got 40,000 monthly subscriptions and don't use
And
most
don't
of
use none of them. Right.
don't use none of them. So that's how I start. Just acknowledging, let's see where you are. And a lot of times just that open conversation, it
Hmm.
helps people to understand maybe it's not that I'm struggling with money, it's just the way that I'm spending it when it gets in my hand because as a minority, that's what we're working for. We want money. We want financial freedom. We're trying to go from the minority to the majority. So in order to do that, we're like, I got to make more money, make more money, make more money when a lot of times it's just I got to scale back because we're living above our means, so it's hard to stretch and we're
Right.
stressing ourselves out. So
And
that's what.
so right. So listen, people come at me like, of course, anyone. If you talk about finance, people come at me about the whole. Well, it's not about how much you make, right? Like, I listen. I am an advocate for making more money. Like, I feel like you should make more money if you can. I know
Mhm.
it's not easy for people to turn it on, but try to figure out a way to make more money
Right.
somehow, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, something, whatever. Just find a way to make more money. I'm with it. I'm with it. However, it's just how you spend it. Like, if you put $1 million in my hand and I literally spend $1 million, I have nothing.
Exactly.
But a lot of times that thought, just like you're saying, people think it's about making more, making more. One of the craziest things that happened for me when I was learning how to invest, like 23, 24, going into the gym, I met a man named Pete, right? Pete,
Mhm.
he's an older white guy, and he worked at the front desk of the gym, right? Now, of course, when you see people at the front of the gym, what do you assume? You don't really think much of it. But one day I'm coming back and like coming out and I'm coming at an angle where I see he's on the computer and I see he
Mhm.
has a stock market pulled up. So I'm like, yo, hey, I just started investing like a year ago. Like you in the stocks, like I'm just because I'm excited. So you just pop off conversation
Mhm.
and Pete's like, yeah, yeah. He's like, I've been investing like pretty much my whole life. And then I learned that P was working as an accountant and he worked there as part time. Pete will
Wow.
tell you he never made over $50,000 a year, but his investment portfolio had almost $4 million in it.
Wow.
And I'm like, wait. How do you do that? And now there's stories all over, but what happens is you find out. Long story, you can put a little bit amount of money, couple $100 every single month for a long period of time in the right assets.
Mhm.
And so a lot of people think it's about making more money, but it's not. It's not about like you can make more money and that helps, but that's just not the only thing that you need if you want to succeed. You got to know how to handle it. Like I try to
I
teach my kids that. Like they want to eat out every day, and it's like no, like dog, it's six of us in this house. That's easily $100 a pop. So you
do
know,
I yeah. And that's the biggest thing and I totally agree with you and I agree with Pete because at the end of the day, it's if you think about it, for me, for example, I have a big problem with buying shoes. Love shoes. I'm not gonna lie, I love Amazon too. But what
Amazon the goat.
yes. And I had to sit down one day and ask myself, it's okay to buy things that you want, but how much can those shoes in my closet make me?
Mm,
So if you make $30,000 a year, it's not I have to make $100,000 to be successful. It's just making sure that the way you're using your money, it's making money for you. Your buying shoes, buying clothes, it's fun, it's nice, you look good, but does it make money for you? And that's what a lot of us have to start understanding, whether it's investing, whether like you said, starting a business, doing something different. Like if you feel that you don't have enough money, first see how you can adjust your spending, adjust your bank account, and then like you said, even if it's something small, you don't necessarily have to start a business but do something that's going to help you make some more money, bring in some type of
right.
revenue.
Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's one of the craziest things in our culture. Like one of the things that I understand is like we do. I know people don't like the word materialism, but I know a lot of times what we do is based off of what was marketed to us, right?
Mhm.
So look at the economy now. They told us you should have a big home. Well, having a big home is pricey. Not everybody can afford that. Oh, you should have this. They said a diamond was a woman's best friend. They told you that. They told
Mhm.
you Louis Vuitton was the brand to have. They told you Gucci was the brand to have. There's no specific reason. Like, granted, if you like that stuff, that's cool. But there is a way to buy stuff like that. But then there's a way that you shouldn't. And what we
Right.
tend to do is buy stuff in the way that we shouldn't. But you're kind of marketed these type of things, and I understand. And what wealth looks like with us as black people, we gonna show it a little bit somewhere, like, cause our culture is
Mhm.
different. We're gonna have nice shoes. We gonna look snazzy. We gonna spice it up. That's how our culture does. But it doesn't mean we have to
Yeah.
be excessive with it. And I think sometimes if that's what you like, that's what you like. But like you said, like you do have to really evaluate those purchases. Like, so do you really need three Bentleys with
Right.
three different years? Do you really need that? You know what I'm saying? Like, to each
Exactly.
his own. Do what you want to do with your money, but it's unnecessary. But
And
that's
you
the
gotta ask,
yep.
you have to ask yourself, like, when I'm buying this, what am I buying it for? Is it really for me because I want it? Or,
Mm,
and especially nowadays, or am I buying it to show people on social media that I have it? Am I
mm,
buying the show? Am I buying it to for people around me to see me in this car?
right,
Because a lot of times, that was me at one point. I'm getting this because I want people to see that I have it. It wasn't
right,
because I actually wanted it. And a lot of us, we run out of money because we're buying stuff to show it versus buying it because we actually want it. I
right.
see that.
I do too. Um, I know a lot of people. I know people that are on TV shows. Some of your most favorite entrepreneurs, influencers online, etc. And I can
Mhm.
tell you behind the scenes, there's people who have it, but then there are people who they are really, check to check, movie to movie,
Mhm.
deal to deal, like because their expenses are so extremely high, especially athletes. Like I remember meeting with a fiance of an athlete. They're married. They're doing pretty good now, but he had got called up from the practice squad, which was already like 7 grand a month, up
Mm.
to up to the team. Now he's in the league minimum, and she was like, "Yo, he is spending too much money now. Like, what
Mm.
can we do? What type of things could we use? Or whatever the case is." Well, one, I was honored because I'm not a financial advisor, but just being able to try to help them with that. But you see how easy it is when you have more money to spend more money. So you need discipline. You need that in business and everything. You're gonna need that. And so just like you're saying, like, well, are we buying it so other people can see it? In most cases, a lot of people, that's it. They want to know you got it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I got it. That's from
Yeah.
around, that's that round the way mentality online. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got it. Like showing
Yeah.
people you have something when really, it doesn't really do much except hurt you on the end because you're just, being flashy. That
Mhm.
mindset thing is huge when it concerns money, and if we can lock down on that part, there's a lot we could do and a lot we could accomplish. Um, because I mean, that's just where it is. So being able to really like discipline our minds, watch what were we taught, get rid of those things, I think is definitely highly important. So now you're a mom and you're a wife. Now I know a lot of people who complain that they cannot seem to succeed in that role. Like they just feel like it's hard. Now, if you're online, anybody that's online at all, like real stats, not just online, posts, but real stats that black women are they're the most rising, most successful entrepreneur, period. Like
Mhm.
any black woman that I know that has a business, I'm like, you don't realize how easy it is for you to win, especially if you're doing something online. Like it's completely set. Now, anyone can win, but black women are really succeeding but you still find a majority that still find themselves like just struggling, trying to just make something happen. And I mean, really, you could just slip up in moving
Mm,
forward and blow up, really.
you
But
can't.
do you mind, like, so, right? So, like, how has that been being a mom of, a gang of kids, right?
Mm,
You can
mm.
tell them how many kids you have, and but also being a wife and still keeping that front together. Now, because I know as a father, I've been in business and been at home for like the last 13 years and having to help take care of the kids. And I listen, I don't leave it all on my wife. So I know it can be challenging, but how has that been for you and your success?
So I have 7 kids. There's a
Woo.
lot of us. Yeah. For me at the beginning, honesty, it was not easy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's slowly got easier. And here's the reason. My mentor said to me one day, because I remember being on the phone with her, and I'm just like, it's a lot of kids. This is frustrating. I gotta cook dinner. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Maybe I shouldn't do this. And I was like, it's so easy for everybody else. And that young entrepreneur rant, like we all have, I had mine. And she was quiet and she listened. She let me get it out. And then when I was done talking, I'm like, are you here? And she said, I am. And the only thing she said to me is, you have the same 24 hours in a day that every millionaire and billionaire has.
Mm.
It's what you make of that 24 hours is what is going to determine your profit. And I didn't understand. She's like, I'm not going to explain it to you. I want you to figure out what I'm saying to you. So I sat down one day and I'm like, well, what does she mean? And I realized I had to create a plan. When you have kids, when you have a husband, dogs, family,
Yes.
you have to make time. So for me, instead of me getting up at 10 a.m. to try to start my day, I started getting up earlier. And it started to become a lot easier because you have to understand, especially as a mom or even a dad, when your kids get up, the expectation is that you're the superhero instantly. It's not let mom
Completely.
clean her face, brush her teeth, get her day started, get her mind together. It's my expectation is that you're superwoman every day, all day. So if you get up a few hours before your family normally does, you have time for you have time to breathe, you have time to do your prayer, you have time to plan out your day. And then by the time your kids get up, you're ready to rock and roll. Now I'm superwoman. So I had to start getting up a little bit earlier and actually planning out my day. I need to have this. This is what we're eating for dinner because we're not going out. That's where a lot of my money was being spent as well because I did not plan out my day. It's 6 o'clock. It's time to eat. I'm not finna try to cook. And I say this all the time. My
Yep.
family laugh. I'm not cooking Thanksgiving dinner tonight. We
Right.
gonna go get some pizza or something. So I was spending a lot of money too because I did not plan out my day. So I started planning out the meals for the week, making sure had a day to select to plan out my content, making sure I had time to spend with my husband. I had to like make time. I had to plan out that 24 hours. What time do I want to be asleep by? This is what time I have to get up. And it started to work for me because now I'm at a place where I am in control of my day. I'm in control of what goes on. And that helped. So I just had to, actually I got my planner right here. I had to get a planner, something that
Right.
I could
Right.
see,
Right.
something, you know?
Right. Nah, I feel you. Like we were just joking. I said like I keep a paper thing of my schedule on my desk, and that's just so I can kind of one of the things I like to do is I like to write out what I'm gonna do like for the week or the next day. Like so,
Yeah.
like I don't like to come to the day like oh what I'm gonna do. So it's like now we don't have seven, but we have four, and even in that dynamic, it can be challenging. My wife works at home too. She has a business, so everybody be in the house, and like having a
Mm,
schedule is important. But one of the things I used to struggle with was the going to sleep part, because then I gotta get up early. But I've been up to like 2 o'clock, and my schedule starts at 5:30. That's not good because I'm not
mhm.
thinking the best because I'm tired. So learning how to shut it down, pick up the next day, and then kind of just stay on course. And just like
Yeah.
you said, being able to plan those times and even plan with family because I would be the dad that would be like, they're like, hey, we're gonna go to the park, and I'm like, yeah, y'all go ahead. I
Mhm.
got something to work on. And in some cases it seems cool, but nah, man. And your kids getting older, you need that time with them. And so
Right.
that exactly like what you said is something that I know I've done, and I've cut out like things like traveling a lot when I used to, especially when I used to travel a lot for business. I've cut a lot of that out because planning babysitters, you need 3 or 4 babysitters for like 2 days. It and I started just making things fit my lifestyle, not the lifestyle that people see online. Like, oh, you got to be, and at some point that's cool, but that's just not the only road to success. So being able to
Exactly.
put the man, that's key. Like you said, putting those things in place is huge. Like like
Mhm.
because we work because we want our to impact our families, but then it
And
also be the thing that we neglect.
one of the things you said that really sticks out to me is I learned when to shut it down.
Hmm.
Work-life balance is important because if you don't have work-life balance, you're gonna stress yourself out. It's gonna be tiring and draining. And that was me. And I had to learn, like, T, you didn't leave your 9 to 5 to be a slave to your business like you were to your 9 to 5. You left your 9 to 5 to have freedom. So why sit in the house all day working and then because that was me. I wanted to leave. I didn't want anyone to tell me that I couldn't go to my son's football games. I didn't want them to tell me I couldn't go to his
Hmm.
practices. But yet once I left, I was so afraid of failing that I worked so much and so hard to the point my son was like, "Mom, you never have time for us." And I
Right.
had to that was a wake up for me, like, you did not leave your 9 to 5 to be a slave to your business. You left for freedom. So have that life of freedom, but plan out and schedule so that it works for you, your family, and your business. You don't have to, keep up with the Kardashians to have a business. You gotta. I mean, I'm a mom. I'm gonna go to Walmart. I'm gonna have fun. And what people fail to realize is being you is going to be what pays, not being somebody else. Don't nobody
Right.
like a replica. They like the real deal. So if Walmart's where you shop, you don't gotta, buy your kids all this fancy stuff. You can vlog yourself going to Walmart. Boom. There's a moneymaker. And I had to learn
Facts.
that.
Facts.
I had to
No,
learn
that's facts. Like a couple things. Like being yourself is like I'm someone now. I always keep a project. I'm always working on something.
that.
Like either I'm building something. Like I recently decided to rip up our deck and resurface it, and I end up going further and resurface it, and I started doing extra stuff. But you
Mhm.
know, I love doing projects because it's a hobby I love. Like, but sometimes I get comments from some of the projects like, "Why don't you pay for somebody to do that?" Like, I don't want to pay for nobody to do that.
If I can
I
do it,
want
yeah.
to, yeah, I want to do like some things I look at and say I want to do it, and that's just a hobby, something I like. It also gives me, peace, a relief, mental break as well. And I got 3 boys now. One of them's one, but he trying to tag along now. But I get to show them like different things. I had some old school men in my life, like my grandfather, uncle, but like so try to show them some stuff. But there's different things that I like that I learned to just embrace that, and then you can invite other people to see like, hey, like we're starting the garden. Look, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like and I think that's important versus wanting to always have the glass with the pinky up and on the beaches of the world and the ocean is blowing and stuff like that. And I don't like the beach as much as everybody do because it be hot. Like I go in the morning, and when everybody get out there and it get hot, we gone to get something to eat. Like that's what I mean. So and we don't even get in the water like that. You know what I mean? But kids will run around, but when it get hot, we
Outdoor.
gone. Yeah.
Well,
So
technically
that's
indoor.
huge. No, that's right. Exactly. Like I think that's huge. Is being able to be yourself. And if you are a mom or if you are a dad, like embrace that. That's part of the package deal. Like but so many times we get caught up in the facade of what is online, and that's just is and not saying people don't live like that, but it's not the everyday life for real. It's just let me turn the camera on type of situation because we want to show in the best light. I actually was talking to a friend who does a travel vlog, and she was in a space, and that it wasn't all of that, glamorous. And I was like, film that too. She was like,
Yeah,
nah, there's nothing here. I'm like, exactly. That's content, versus, and I said, you'll be surprised at the reaction when you show the not so perfect situations and how people respond. And then she did it, boom. And she's like, yo, like that was crazy. So it's just like, and I, like we were talking about fitness with a friend, like you want to start a fitness channel, you don't have to be fit. You can invite people to get fit with you.
exactly.
Just being able to be yourself, I think that's huge. That's huge. Like, so being a mom, being a wife, and big ups to Rod too. and and then there's a pandemic. I don't think you like we didn't foresee it. Like, but you said I'm gonna do this, and then the pandemic hits, and you were
Yeah.
successful in a pandemic. Most people don't realize times like that is where you can have some of the most success. A lot of people fearing. So how was that transition? So I'm going into business, and then there's a worldwide virus. Kids come home, everybody at home, but you're still building the business. How was that experience?
It was it was challenging. Um because I had prayed and complained for about 2 years before I actually went into full-time entrepreneurship. I was being nudged, but I was scared. And then the pandemic hit, and the way my job at the time was operating, like, hey, even though there is this virus that's out here, I still want you to go to clients' houses, look them in their face, like, and I was like, no, I got kids. I can't do this. And so that was my push. Like maybe a week or so before, I'm like, God, if it's time, it's time. Show me, and boom, this happens. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I just quit my job in the middle of a pandemic. That was dumb. and and so because I had a service-based business, it was hard because I was used to being home to create content, being home in a quiet place to have meetings, but now I have 7 kids running around. My office sat downstairs right above the kitchen. So every time they was at the kitchen, sliding the tables, slide the stairs, you can be recording.
Yeah.
Got dogs running up and down the stairs, and I'm like, okay,
Right,
this ain't
right, right.
ain't gonna
Hey,
work.
right. Pause. Like I tell people all the time, like when I'm doing like Zoom calls and trainings, I got 4 kids and I got a wife, and they laugh because then I say like I got an African wife, meaning like if she gets to a point where they're getting on her nerves, you're gonna hear all that through these doors. There's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. So I feel you. I feel you.
And see, that's going back to what we were talking about before. That was my problem.
Hmm.
I want because that's what I was accustomed to.
Right.
Them not being home, it being quiet. I got to a place where I was stressed out, like it's not gonna work because I'm expecting 7 kids to be quiet for 2 hours straight.
Ain't no way.
And it ain't there is no way. And just like with dogs, I'm expecting them not to bark for 2 hours. And so I had to take a step back. Like I said, I had luckily what helped me is I had people that I was connected to that were already where I wanted to be. So I would hear my mentor get on our calls and say, my kids are playing. Let me know if you can or cannot hear me. That's it. Now I'm apologizing for them laughing and maybe scream here or there. Some would come and say, Mom, I got a question real quick. She was a single mom. So for her, it was a little different. But I had to, it was very difficult, especially in the beginning. Everybody's trying to adapt to being home all the time, me having to make sure they have lunch, and it was hard. But it took, like I said, going back to how can I make this work? And I had to stop trying to, if I can say it, be something that I'm not, or do something that I can't do, and start embracing where I am.
Right.
And honestly, once I started to embrace, like, I'm a mom, so I might go live and my daughter may come and just stare at the camera. It started because I was being myself, people started to gravitate more. And it was amazing to me that, they a lot of people, especially helping minorities, they like the natural you. They don't want a corporate feel because they're afraid of that. So
Mm,
it was difficult. Ooh, it was
right.
rough. It
That's
was rough.
huge. I was talking with an old business partner of mine. Um, this is back when like I first came online doing business, and
Mhm.
it was by way of network marketing. It's like 14 years ago. Did that for like 5, 6 years. So um, had fun, did well. But one of the things we were talking about was like back then with online business, and that's kind of what led me to like business now and digital
Mhm.
marketing, all that stuff. But we were talking about how you had to be so perfect back then because nobody believed anything anyone said unless you talked the part, you didn't split your verbs, you had a
Mhm.
suit on, and all that stuff. Like you had to be perfect. And when you have to do that for an online culture that they're not adapted to the online business and buying from online. So it's different from now because now everybody's accustomed to buying online because they do it all the time.
Mhm.
But back then, people was like, man, I don't trust this. What do you talk like? They don't trust it. But
Right.
now it's completely switched. The person that you're so perfectly trying to be, people they rock with it. But man, the person that is like, raw, just this is your life, this is who you are. People are
Mhm.
just as interested in that at the business aspect as they are in the you aspect. And that's a
Right.
huge shift where a lot of people miss because they spend so much time trying to be perfect and really people are more concerned about the value, the content, and do I really want to connect with this person? Which is huge.
Right. And I said it the other day, like, if you think about it, we try to live our lives based on what we're seeing on social media. But
Mm-hmm.
I can live in my car right now. I can go and I may have went to Amazon has the anytime pay, anytime shift. You can click your shift you want. It makes it convenient for people who need a set schedule. I
Wow.
can go rent me a car, a really nice car from a like something like Turo. I can go to a house, an open house. I can bring my phone, my ring light, set it up real quick, take a few pictures in front of the house. I'm a millionaire overnight. And a lot of us, just so that I can create content, and a lot of us are trying to compare ourselves, and we're pushing ourselves to a place we don't have to be, trying to keep up with people who aren't actually even living the life that they're portraying on social media. So
Absolutely.
it's like we stress ourselves out, we overspend, and you don't ask yourself, is this genuine? What can I got to be happy with where I am right now, because that's what's going to take me to the next level. And that's what I honestly had to learn. If we're going to be raw and uncut, I had to be okay with who is Talisha? What does Talisha want? Where's Talisha in life? And because people have been able to go on this journey with me, it makes me a lot more trustworthy. I'm not afraid to say my credit was shot. I was operating a credit business first starting, and my credit was shot. You know, I wasn't afraid of saying that. And because I was open about who I was, it created the audience for me. And that's what all business owners, and even if you're not a business owner, be okay with where you are, because you
Absolutely.
can't get somewhere else if you're not okay with if you're not taking care of what you have right now. So,
Absolutely. That's one of the things on the finance side I love to teach. But even from just the business marketing side I teach. But like on the finance side it was more so I try to give content for people who don't have a lot of money. Because when I
yeah.
started investing, I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't have tens of thousands or $100,000 to put. That's what you think. I started
Right.
with $30 investment. Like I actually found my first sheet of the investment I made because I printed it out because I was so excited. Google was you know kind of
Different.
brand new type of thing, so it won't and I remember printing it out because I was so excited. Like, yo, I just put $30 in the stock market, and everybody
Mm,
else does. And so I that's how I try to help people. Like, oh, no, 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 you start from where you are. That's how you get to the next level, and then you learn how to be consistent and disciplined. And it will start once you learn that. It makes it easier for you to say, let me do this more, let me do that. And that's why I do the content that I do, because from how I started, just like you're saying, same thing with business marketing, online, recently laid off from my job, trying to fight thoughts of like, should I, go back to the
Mm,
hood, like trying to, because that's just where God placed me, and I thank God that He put me in that situation, because it made me who I am today and moving
right.
forward. There's a lot of stuff I wouldn't know, and a lot of times what people do is they miss those aspects, just like you're saying, trying to be somebody else. They miss
Mm,
that aspect of the blessing of becoming who they really could be, because they're too busy, over here trying to be somebody else. There's no lessons
it-
there, you know.
yeah, you speaking because that
Right,
I've had those times. I definitely where I'm like, should I go back to work? I don't know, and it you're gonna have them. You're gonna have them. Finances too. My money looking a little strange. I don't know.
right,
I'm so I get it. I get
right.
it.
But that's another thing too. Like, if you're in a place as an entrepreneur, which is when you work, you do know, you understand, you work with a lot of people too, groups and stuff like that. So you get a lot of dialogue. Like, sometimes people, they want to move out. Like, I was telling someone, like, hey, if you want to step out, I suggest you really think carefully and plan. I
Right.
don't. I'm not a fan of just jumping out there and putting yourself in harm's way if you haven't planned or anything like that, or saved, whatever. Everybody has different situations, but just I know from being laid off, like, hey, this is your last day, bro. Like, wait, what? Hold on, wait, hold, wait. Is this a joke? No, this is real life. Um, and especially the time it happened, and so it's like, when people want to move out, like I was telling a friend, I'm like, look, if you want to move out, do your business, that's cool. Don't be afraid to have something on the side if you need it. If you feel like you're stuck, you know, listen, Uber, Lyft, whatever, uh, e-commerce, whatever. If it's something, if you really need to and you want that freedom, don't be afraid of those things, and use those things to get to your freedom. Is one of the keys to um, being debt free that most people don't know, is
Yeah.
make as much money as you can. But we judge what we do. So we judge what we do, things like that. So, but it can work for you, as long as you're willing to let down the guard, let go of the pride, stop the comparison, things like that.
Yeah.
Comparison steals everything, because that's what people do all day long. They get on the phone and they're like, man, I could never produce content like this.
Right.
Meanwhile, it's someone in their bonnet giving out mad advice, and they got millions of followers, right? Right, right. Like, you get stuck with those things. Like, as someone who loves videography and editing, I know this stuff. Like, I've learned to pull myself away from trying to make things look like I could. Sometimes I get into it, sometimes I don't, but a lot of times those things will block you from their progress, and a lot of people miss that just because of that whole facade thing. And really, it's more simple than we realize it. Like, if I knew what I knew now 14 years ago, I missed a lot of money back then, because I was like, one of my issues I had to get over was, well, don't nobody know me.
Mm-hmm.
um I'm not this, I'm not that, why would people listen to me? God would tell me to talk about investing stuff, just to help people from a small, just whether it's 10, 20. I have a whole system on how you can use $5 in investing to grow, right? But I wouldn't share it. He was, listen, God told me to get on YouTube, and I was like, nah, I'm not. I
Not doing
ain't.
it.
Like, how you look, I just got off of YouTube. Like, how you gonna, how is this a part of the deal? Like, and because I was just so afraid, like, because at the time there was nobody on there but like people who made millions. You had Danny Johnson, you had Dave Ramsey, you had
Mm,
Tony Robbins out there giving some financial stuff, Susie Orman. That was really it. Nobody out there. And I'm like, nobody's gonna listen to a black guy, but because, and those things hold you up. So,
sabotage.
um,
Yeah.
mm,
You. Self-sabotage, it can be your worst, it can be your worst enemy. And that I'll say this, that one thing that you're afraid of could change your life. Like for
Forever.
me, we talked about it. I wasn't trying to get on nobody camera. I am an introvert. I'm not talking to no. I am fine. I can post. They get the point. We're good. But me starting to go live and all of that changed my life because I showed up. I stopped saying nobody's going to want to hear from me. Went
Right.
live. I watched my memories the other day, my very first live, and I cringed. It was so bad. But I thought to myself, like, this moment is what changed your life because you was like, I got to show up any way possible. And a lot of the things that we're afraid of doing, I'm not going to start the business because nobody's going to buy from me. They don't know me. I'm not going to start investing because I don't have anybody to teach me. And when all you have to do, like mom, for example, my mom, just an example, she for 50 plus years had never got on a plane.
Hmm.
Scared to death. So many horror stories. And I was like, just get on the plane. Like, how can you be afraid of something you've never experienced before?
Never tried, never
And
experienced.
she got on that plane and said, I cannot believe I spent 50 years either not traveling, going where I want to go, or having to sit in the car for a long period of time for something that was not that bad. And I was like, see. And so everybody has to hear that. You cannot be afraid of something that you've never experienced because how do you know? People have accustomed, we're now accustomed to saying fear is supposed to make me not do something.
Hmm.
Who taught us that?
Right.
Who who gave us that? I had to change the way I thought about that and say, I'm so afraid of being homeless again that I'm going to show up for me every
Mm.
day. Instead of saying, I'm afraid of being homeless again, so I'm going to get a job or I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. I stopped allowing fear to make me stop and made fear make me go. And we got to just change the way we think about that. Like, don't be afraid and then not do it. Be afraid and step out. I rather
Absolutely.
I'd rather be scared and say that I did it and I'm terrified to actually see if it works or not than to be afraid and just never, never do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's funny. It seems like God places all those rewards or those blessings and those on in anything, whether it's tangible or not, on the
Mhm.
other side of fear. If you want to get healthy, you got to work out. You got to do some stuff you don't want to do, you don't like to do, and
Yeah.
might be afraid to do. Anything, it takes us having to go beyond that fear veil where we just stay away from so much. Like everything is always placed a new level, a next
Mm,
level. It's like a game. Every level you got a final boss. You got a boss at the end of each level, and it's a fear of going to the next level. And once you get used to it, you understand the process, understand the challenges. It makes it a lot easier for you to. That's why when people break through in success, they start finding easier ways to break through because they
mm,
went through one, two levels, and they're like, I got it, and then they start moving forward like that. And so
yeah,
getting on the other side of fear, man, is huge.
it
It's
is.
huge.
Come on this side.
Come on, yeah, come on over this side. It don't mean that the nervousness stops. It don't mean that. It just means that you're willing to face the challenges. And a lot of times, those challenges that you're willing to face, it reflects back on you, and then you have to fix something within you in
Yeah.
order to overcome the challenge. So people are like, well, how do you know that? Because I was stuck. I mean, so I had to figure it out. So then you end up knowing it. And that's and then on the business side, that stuff makes you more valuable because you actually went through the process versus a lot of people, they just want to skip steps. The one mentor that I had who was extremely rough, he's get on my nerves sometimes, but a while ago he said, look, as much as I could help you with this, you don't need to skip this step. Because if you
Wow.
skip this step, you might get to another level and you might need those things that you just skipped. So
What
never
you
try
just
to skip grades. It was a huge moment, and then that meant, okay, so I'm going to have to go through these things that I don't want to go through in order to succeed. So that's
absolutely.
huge.
And yeah, because you think about it, like I tell my mentees all the time, you have to don't wake up one day, say I want to start a business and be the CEO. That's not how it works. You're first the janitor. Then you're the inventory keeper. Then you're the social media marketer. Then you're the processor. Then you're the accountant for a while. Because as your business grows, you can't. That's like going to a Fortune 500 company and applying to be the CEO, and you've never had any experience. You
Never
can't do that
experienced it.
because as a CEO, if you start to get employees, and I learned this the hard way as I started hiring, because I didn't allow myself to be the parts of my business first, it was hard for me to create training material or to train my
Hmm.
staff at the beginning because I didn't know how to explain it because I did not go through that or put my mindset to say this is what it was hard to explain.
Right.
I can show you what I know how to do, but I don't have a way to train you because I don't know what to
I
say.
don't know. Right.
You don't want to go into it trying to position yourself as the CEO. Go in and say, I'm the janitor right now. I'm the social media marketer. Because when it's time for you to move into that direction, you have to be able to help the people up under you. One, but most importantly, you gotta go through it in order for you to get to a different level. And that's even with your finances. You got to go through understanding and educating so you can educate your kids, your aunties, your uncles, your
Absolutely.
nieces, your nephews. You got to go through it.
Yep. It's one of those questions I get from like parents sometimes. But what? How do I teach my kids if I don't know? You do it together. That's it. You learn together.
And
You
teach them
just
what you do know to start out.
absolutely, yeah, right. And then tell them, hey, mommy, daddy, hey, I'm messing up. Like, hey, just don't do this. Don't do this. Like
Hey, right?
that's part of teaching. You know what I'm saying? But no, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Being able to know those things, they're huge for your success, and that's a lot of times some of the things I think people try to skip because it's easier to do that. It's
Mm,
easier to say, I don't want to do all these things. I don't want to learn. I don't want to get here. I don't want to go through this process, and all you're doing is just holding yourself up. But just like you said, even with your family, you're holding your kids up too. You're holding up people in your circle, or if you have a team of people, you're holding them up just behind your unwillingness to just learn. That's vital.
exactly.
All right, so three things that you want people to learn, or three things people should learn that will help them be successful.
So I had 2 things. Number one would be stay true to yourself. It doesn't matter whether it's business, whether it's finances, whether it's relationships, friendships, all of that. Be true to you because you have to be willing to say, this is where I'm messing up in order to fix it. So if you are struggling with the way you're spending your money, address it. You what do they say when you go to like the rehab meetings? You have to be able to identify the problem in order to fix the problem. And a lot of us we're
Right.
not willing to do that. So that's number one. Um show up for you. Be true to yourself, show up for you. I'm going to take these classes, I'm going to ask questions, I'm going to read YouTube University. I'm a fact check it once I've used YouTube University, and I'm going to educate myself. If I don't understand budgeting, that's what I need. That's my sole focus this month. That's my sole focus this week. If I need help with spending, that's my sole focus. If it's marketing, whether it's business, personal, you have to show up, educate yourself, learn, unlearn sometimes. We got to unlearn.
Unlearn.
Yeah, it's just to relearn. Um, and the last one, let me think. Let me think. Because I'm really big on mindset shifting. Like everything that you do, you gotta it's the way you think. And I always say when you shift your
Huge.
mind, you shift your money. When you shift your mind, you shift your money. So I think that would be my last one. Shift your mindset. Stop
Right.
being afraid, you know? Like once you start thinking differently, your money starts moving differently. Just like, you know, I'm trying to think. For just like with me, I'm gonna give an example. I used to think I'm never gonna make $1 million. I'm never even gonna make $100,000. And I kept putting that into the atmosphere. And so because my mouth said it, my mind thought it. Now I'm thinking different. Now I'm thinking I can't do it. So what am I not doing? I'm not showing up. And once I
Right.
start saying this might look crazy, but I'm gonna make $100,000. I start creating a plan. I start showing up, and then it happens. Like you start to see your revenue increase. You start to see your finances adjust. So
Exactly.
shift the way you think. If the way you're thinking right now is not working for you, let's make some adjustments. And I promise you, life will adjust with the way your mind adjusts. So that would be my three.
Man, that's great. Now it's huge, especially that mindset thing. Your money flows the way you think. So
Absolutely.
if you think you broke, you act like you broke.
You
You
gonna be
think
broke.
you won't be successful, your habits follow right behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. That's huge. I hope somebody got some from that because that's an enormous, point right there. So, but lastly, tell us what you got going on.
Well, I actually have in we just rescheduled. So in April of 2023, we have a conference in Nashville, Tennessee, called the Next Level Conference. In this conference, we have a host of different entrepreneurs, all Black-owned businesses. There will be a credit union owner, business owner there. There's going to be investors there, wealth strategists, brand coordinators, credit, of course, specialists, tax specialists, and we're all coming together in one central place to educate you on the foundation of business and finances. Um, that's going to be April 20th through the 22nd in Nashville, Tennessee. I am so excited about that too. Let me just say that. And then, of course, I do have a couple of trainings that will be coming out in the next few months as well. Just teaching how to, prepare taxes, understanding your finances, because I want to educate. Let me teach you how to do it. Find a person. We said it earlier. Find somebody that can help you and teach you. So I have a couple of trainings that will be coming available soon, where I'm teaching you how to manage your money, manage your budgets, and things of that nature.
Wow, that's what's up. That's what's up. Good stuff. Well, congratulations, sis. I'm super excited for you, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was an honor to have the one and only Talisha Birdsong on the show. So, but that's it, guys. So we'll see you guys on the next one.